Welcome to Assetify version 3, and here is everything that is new in this ultimate bake and export tool. First of all, the user interface may look a little bit different, and that is because I used a new categorization system. It should be easier to use a new category follow top to bottom. I added some features for UV unwrapping as well as baking. First of all, there's a new map that we can bake, which is the ambient occlusion, very important. And with that also comes an ability to pack your ambient occlusion, roughness and metallic. They're all black and white masks into one texture, right? That is called basically the ORM texture. And we can pack that and it will combine into the red, green, blue channels into one texture that you can use then into other softwares as well. Some game engines use it and it's very efficient, right? In terms of performance. We also have now the ability to bake into OpenEXR format next to PNG. And that means that, well, OpenEXR uses 32-bit, which means we can get slightly more detail as well. Now we can also adjust the UV margin setting now, right? Previously I had some comments that the UV islands were too close together when it was packed by Assetify, especially in lower resolution bakes. So I now added this setting to change the kind of spacing, right? The margins between two islands. You can increase that so they become well, more separated and they won't overlap. Now we can also unwrap and bake, and this is a big one, UDIMs, right? So that means that you can just set how many UDIMs you want in the Assetify interface, for example 2 or 3, and you can then just unwrap and bake it into, well, that specified amount of UDIM tiles, right? All you need to do is set the amount and it will take care of the rest in baking, and it will even re-import it when it's done with the baking to, well, show if it looks proper or not. And that also happens with the ORM, by the way. The packed texture is automatically imported back into your shading as well, so you can check out how your material looks with that packed texture as well. Now there's also been some additional functionalities, right? We can automatically set the origin point of an object to the center bottom, right? That is something that happens a lot with a lot of props, right, that you place on things. They need a center origin at the bottom of the object so it can be placed on the ground or whatever. So that is now an automatic option as well, so you don't have to find that origin yourself or anything. Now you can also create LODs with Assetify, up to 4. That is included the original mesh, right? So you have the original mesh, you can create the first LOD, the second and the third. It will automatically name your original to LOD 0 as well if you check that option. And that means that it will count as your original LOD, right? You can set the kind of resolution that you want your LOD to be at for every LOD. So you can, for example, split the first into half the geometry, the second into 25%, and the third into 5% maybe, right? Now, together with that, we also can create collider objects, collision objects, right? So just some general shape, and it uses primarily a convex hull with a little bit of additional cleaning up and merging of two closed verts. So you can create a quick collider as well. You don't have to set that up yourself. Now, together with the new features, I also made a lot of fixes. Obviously, we are now in Blender 5.0, which means that I had to tweak the add-on a little bit as well to fit Blender 5.0 perfectly. I also fixed a little bit of UV overlapping with that margin setting. I updated the mix shader setup, right? If you have a mix shader setup with diffuse BSDF, principal BSDF, things that mix together into your material output, you can enable that function and it will try to bake it the best it can. You will actually get a nice result. I tweaked a bit in there as well. There were some occasions where it wouldn't work perfectly, so I tweaked it and it should be more robust now. I also fixed an issue where your metallic map sometimes turns into a black output, right, which is not what you want. So I fixed the progress bar that didn't always disappear at the end of the baking sequence. I fixed a normal map bake turning out inconsistent due to denoising, which is not really what you want. And I also fixed some faceting and other shading artifact issues. by adding that shade smooth functionality, right? Force shade smooth will kind of create a temporary baking object with all your custom normal cleared, which is kind of what you want during your normal map baking, right? You just want your normal data and not really your custom normal splits. So just check that box if you want to bake it with the smoothened out normals, and just leave it off if you don't. It's a simple switch. That was in general the update list for Assetify 3.0. Now let me just showcase these changes quickly and go over the new UI so you know what's going on there. So I'm just using this as a nice test model. It's not mine, it's made by someone else, namely by Arman, right? Very cool model. And I picked this to really just test out the features of Assetify. There's a lot of objects here with different textures, and these objects also use weighted normals, right? So that is kind of custom normals that would previously interfere with the bake a little bit. So I wanted to test that, fix that, created a kind of solution for it as well. And we're just going to test it out with this model. Quite cool. So I'm going to open up my panel here, Assetify, and immediately you may notice that it looks different, right? There's icons and there's more kind of categories as well. Now, the first really just remains the same, right? Processing your assets. This is where you start off. Really think about this as a sequence that you go from top to bottom, as it was before as well. So opening up the processing assets, we just hit the plus to add a new collection. So now we have the Rusty Surveillance bot in here and we can process the assets. Process, and you can now see that it's also kind of processing it in real time, right? It will add models by models by models until your actual model is created, right? So we're going to collapse this because once it's processed, it is part of the Assetify system and it is now part of the list. We have the collection, we have the assets. So there's a lot of assets in this robot model. All right, so you can tell here. So we can just go by collection in this case, which is just one collection, the Rusty Surveillance bot. So first things first, I want to bake the entire thing as one texture, right? So I don't want every model to have its own texture. So by default, I'm going to join this up as one object. Now, previously, there may also have been some issues with the UV maps, right? So this object has two UV maps and they all have two UV maps. And some of them use the UV map and some of them use the auto map. So Assetify version 3 is able to detect the active UV for every single object. That will make sure that that's actually going to be used when it's a joined object as well. And that only one UV map remains with the proper UV maps for each and every single individual object. So let's go to utilities because this is now the section where that happens, right? Previously, it was under the process assets, but I just left the refreshing of the list and the deletion of selected kind of objects collections here. Something that just belongs to the processing of the assets, right? To the assets list. Now, the utilities is something as just a little bit of an extra to the kind of bake and export settings, right? Because we can now join our assets, right? With the collection selected in the list, we can then join our assets, give it a name, maybe robot, and hit OK, and it will join it into one object, right? And we end up with one UV map, as you can see here. And if I open up a UV window here, we have one UV map as well. It's not completely clean, but we're going to UV unwrap this anyway in the sequence here, because we also don't want any overlap because we bake this as one object. So let's just now check out the pivot to bottom as well, right? Our pivot point is not really located properly, right? If this would be an asset that you would place somewhere in your 3D environment, you would want this to be somewhere at the bottom, right? And that means that we can just click on the set pivot to bottom. It's going to calculate pretty much the center point of your object and the lowest point, and it's going to place the origin there, right? So that is beautiful and easy. That's pretty much it, right? I'm going to collapse this and then we're going to proceed to baking of our assets, right? And if we open this up, we have first of all the still and animation tab. It's the same as before, but for the still we can open up the extra map bakes and we see a new map, the ambient occlusion, that we can now enable and disable, right? Alongside the other maps that were already there. So let's collapse this and open up the general settings, right? And this is where the rest of the magic happens. So top to bottom, we now have PNG OpenEXR, right? We can switch between the two, and we can select the resolution just like before, the samples, and then we have the pipeline kind of setting where we have some new options, right? Platform, Unreal Engine, Unity, but we can, of course, enable the mix shader setup. I renamed this from non-principled BSDF baking to mix shader setup. I think it makes more sense, right? You all know what we mean if we have a mix shader setup. It uses something else than just one principled BSDF shader. Enable that if that is the case. For me, I don't think this one has it. So we're just going to try the normal baking. Now we have force smooth normals. So this model has a lot of weighted normals, right? So the objects, we can check them out. There's always a backup of your original objects. There is weighted normals, and that means that there's some kind of custom normals going on. That gave me issues with the bake previously. It would give, for example, some hard splits at edges of your geometry, which is really not what I want, right? So we're going to just force the smooth normals for the baking. Don't worry, it's not going to mess up anything of your actual 3D model, because this means that we're also going to be baking on a proxy object, right? A temporary object that we can manipulate, do whatever we want to in order to force this kind of smooth baking result. So let me hide that collection. And then we also have a pack ORM system. I already explained it in the kind of intro here. It means that we're packing the ambient occlusion, the roughness, and the metallic maps into one texture in the RGB channels. It is going to save us, efficiency-wise, a lot of space, right? Because we're not baking individual textures for the ambient occlusion, 1 for the roughness 2, and for the metallic 3. But it's going to bake all of them separately and pack them into one texture that we can then use, right? So I'm going to enable that as well, just to showcase it a little bit. And then we have the UV unwrap, which is now a toggle, right? We can enable or disable it. If you already have great UVs on your object and you want to just bake them to your own UVs, just leave this off. If you have this enabled, it's going to UV unwrap, and now we have a UV margin setting as well, right? There may have been some overlap issues if you bake this as 512 or 1000, right? I get some comments. So now we can set this to, for example, 0.01 or 0.005, whatever you need for your model. So I just can set that manually, and then we also have the UDIM setting, right? Let's say this is an object with a lot of parts, there's a lot of UVs here, and let's say it's not going to fit one UV, right? Happens a lot. Then we can just use UDIMs. We can set this to 2 or 3 or 4, 5, whatever, and it's just going to, during our bake process, it will add that extra tile, and it will add that during the UV unwrapping section of the bake function, which means that first it will just add that tile, it will unwrap it and pack it into 2 tiles, and then it will bake it into the 2 tiles as well, save it as well, and then it will even apply those textures with the UDIMs to your final model, right? So you can exactly see what's going on once you bake this. So use UDIMs too, and then we're ready for bake, right? GPU is what I'm going to use. Bake, save and proceed. Every time you do something crazy in your file, right? In Assetify, baking, exporting, processing, whatever, and your file is not saved for a while, it will make you save, right? Because saving is safe. So save and proceed. You'll see a little progress bar up here. I'm baking 1K on 2 UDIMs, so it is going to take a few seconds, but shouldn't be too long. You can actually see in real time those UVs here being created with our UV margins set up properly as well. So it's already done. We go to render view, we see how it looks, and it's just our robot, right? So did it even bake? Well, let's just go to the shader editor, and we can see that we now have 3 textures for our robot, and it looks perfect, right? It looks amazing. A little bit low res, maybe. We still bake in 1K, right? This entire object, but the colors and metallic values, whatever, the roughness, it all looks great. And well, let's just see what this does, right? The base color, perfect. We have the ORM, right? The combined AO, roughness and metallic with a separate color. Yes, it applies everything, so you can tell what it looks like at the very end. Let's just look. This is the ambient occlusion. It looks like it's not there, but it is. And I actually set it up to automatically multiply with our diffuse texture. It means that if I now add a color ramp here in between, crank the black values a bit more to the right, And let's visualize that, Ctrl-Shift-Click. We can see that we're actually having a nice ambient occlusion texture packed within that ORM texture, right? So let's just visualize the principal BSDF, right? So you can just play around with that ambient occlusion to really add a little bit more of that darker values, for example, to your model as well, right? Beautiful. And of course, our normal map, I baked it smooth, which means that, well, it is going to be smooth. There's not going to be any edges. No matter how strong we make this normal map, right, there's not going to be kind of those lines on our rounded surfaces. That was mostly the issue here. It will all be smooth, right? Now, this is quite harsh. We may not need that much, so maybe one is fine or two, you know. And of course, all dependent on the resolution of your texture. Now, this is not just it, right? Because we can collapse this menu and just move on to the next, which is LOD and Collider Manager. Open it up and you can see a few basic settings, right? We can enable LOD 1, 2, and 3 with the ratio as well, right? Which means that this is going to end up with 50% of the geometry, this 25%, and this is, well, 5%. And then we can generate LODs, right? So let's see how detailed our geometry is. It's not too bad. And we can generate LODs. Just click on the button. There we go. Wait a few seconds and LODs created. Now, if you enable this checkbox, it will rename it as well, the original model to LOD 0, which is usually what you want, right? And let's just see how it looks, right? Let's just start with LOD 0. Well, it's the default object. So that looks like this. Let's hide it. Let's go to the second one, right? It looks more kind of, well, more low detail. And the 5% one is even a lower detail, right? There is a total of 4,000 vertices in this one. And in the original one, let's see how many there is. There is 74,000. So it is quite a lot. And it's still, let's go to render view, looks kind of great, right? It's still that robot model looking very nice, right? So from a distance, you can't even tell that this is a lower resolution model, right? Which it really is. So that is beautiful. It's all placed in the same collection as well, by the way, which means that if we would export this, and let's just get all of them in here. If we would export that collection, which is still selected in the list, and we would export all these objects together. Now, the final object that we can add is a collider object, right? Which is going to create, well, a smooth kind of collider for this object, the best it can, right? I added some extra features that would remove some geometry that is still too close to each other, so it's trying to make it a bit more low res even. But you can just press it, even if you have multiple LODs already, it will just take your first LOD and create it from that. So generate collider, and it will generate that collider object. And by default, it is going to create it with a wireframe visibility in Blender. Don't worry, it's still a 3D model with faces and everything, right? It's just not visible in our viewport, so we have a nice kind of base collider object. Now we can just export that entire collection, right? Export, FBX, whatever. Export it. It will have a nice progress bar and you're done, right? Everything is created. Your entire setup is done and you're ready to take this to any other software that you want. So that is, in short, the entire update for Assetify version 3.0. Now, I don't have the time to test this with hundreds of models, so please, if you come across any issues, let me know. In the Discord channel is the easiest way for me to handle any kind of issues and errors. I try to respond quite quickly and solve issues quickly as well by just pushing out a new update, right? Assetify can be updated in your Edit Preferences menu, and then under the add-ons and Assetify is where you can check for updates and update it. That's also how it works in, of course, updating this to version 3.0. Right, but whenever there is small updates, I won't really notify you. Just check for updates every once in a while, and if there's a major update that you need to have, I will of course notify all of you once again. So good luck with Assetify. Let me know what you think of version 3, and have a nice day. Cheers.